What's up, guys? So it's Monday and I'm here. Go figure. Store's not open, but I just have been kind of in and out doing a little bit of errands, running around. Went and looked at a very large aquarium today. It's used. It's a good chance that it needs to be resealed, but there is an even better chance that we're probably going to try to set it up here at the store. Now, it's a little unrealistic, but you know, nothing much of anything that I do is realistic. So at least these days. So we got a little bit to figure out with that. I'm going to be taking the tank, and I think I'm going to have a moving company actually move it from his house to here. Don't really want to deal with it. I'll move 200 and X gallons all day. When we get north of 300, I'll leave that up to the professionals. But it's an older tank. It does have some wear on it. There's a good chance that it needs to be resealed, which we'll do that as well. And we'll give it a shot because the price on it, I can't say no. Can't say no. So that's what we did today. He's got a big build that he's working on, so we're going to be helping him out with that. It's probably going to be a subject here on the channel in the future. We'll do a couple spotlights on that build, but really interesting opportunity, and had to jump on it. So something that I wanted to talk about, you know, I was just kind of in passing here at the store, and I'm doing a little bit of an experiment, and I want to share that with you guys. So everything that I have ever been taught with sponges, or have learned with sponges, is you do not expose sponges to the air. Now, I recently had a trade where I received quite a bit of blue plating sponge, and it is really neat. It looks just like Monte Poro when it grows. It does like a tabling spiral kind of deal, and there's blue, purple, bluish purple, and red. And I did some research on it, and I found some of it available on Live Aquarium, and I'm probably, if this works out, what I'm working on today, or what I am experimenting with works out, we'll probably try out the red plating as well. But I want to see how this goes first. So I got so much of it that I wanted to do a little bit of an experiment, because I watched a video with Dr. Mac from Pacific East Aquaculture. I probably just butchered that, but Dr. Mac had a gentleman that was fragging. They had the colony on the table. They're cutting it up, and just like no F's given. They were going about, you know, fragging this up and super gluing it and the whole thing, and I was just kind of, what? That's kind of crazy. So let's go take a look at it actually real quick, because we threw it here in the back system. So, you know, a lot of folks are not going to be incredibly apt to buy anything that is rubber band to anything. They're just gonna be like, meh, not really into it. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them. And I had asked the question, you know, to the gentleman that dropped it off, if you could super glue it, and he's like, I wouldn't. And we also talked about the air exposure, and he mentioned that he's had 50-50 with the success of exposing this to the air and it surviving. So we got some pretty large pieces here, and you know, there's websites out there selling this stuff for a pretty penny. Obviously, if I get it for a deal, I'm going to give it the deal. But I did take one of these larger pieces and took some frag plugs, glued them up, and exposed them to air, and that whole deal. The majority of them look okay, with the exception of this one that's right here in the front. So you can see like a little bit of an indent, and then a clear part over the top. That clear part over the top is the glue, and that little indent onto the side is death. But just about all the others seem to be holding up pretty well so far. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, you know, things don't die immediately, but if it is able to be handled in that way in which that I have seen with the Dr. Mac video, which I'll put a link to that video in the description below. We could probably do some pretty cool stuff with this and get some red plating and try to see if we can get some interesting mixtures and growth patterns going on. And obviously it would look a lot better than rubber bands and rubble. It looks a little bit more uniform over there. But with sponges, typically, and I have an old video where I talked about sponges and how to add them to your reef tank. And I'll put a link to that in the description as well, as you guys want to check that out. But typically when you're talking about sponges, you do not expose them to the air, because the air can get trapped inside them and they basically rot from the inside out. I actually had a blue decorative sponge that I purchased, and I accidentally thought it was a sea urchin. And I ripped the bag open, pulled it out, and I was like, then put it back in the bag, and it actually is currently not doing too good. But I bought 2 of them, and there's a little bit, that one actually, the one that's dying, it came off from the plug, and there's a little bit of a piece still on the plug. But yeah, we got some sponge action going on here, and obviously, you know, when sponges die, they release stuff into the water, so there's always that concern as well. But we're doing a little bit of experiment, and we're going to try to see how things go with that, and we'll keep you guys posted. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. You know, we did a little bit of errands. I got a couple more errands to do, and we're going to head home and spend some time with the family this evening. So I want to thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow.